Good evening. My name is Eric Richardson. I am the CEO and co-founder of ScanMed QR. ScanMed QR was founded based on my mother, who's with me tonight, and she lives with type 1 diabetes and epilepsy with a number of medications that she does take. But with traditional medical alert products, there was no way for her to actually carry that information with her or be able to update that information without having to buy additional products or be limited to what information she could actually provide on a bracelet or whatever product that she was using. So what we did was use quick response or QR technology to be able to give people a profile to where they can log into our website with their own username and password, be able to update all of their information, and yet go further with the medical or the chronic medical conditions that they have. So if they have type 1 diabetes, they can put in their A1C, they can put in whether they're wearing an insulin pump or whether they're doing self-injections, and a lot more information, so they can go a lot further with emergency contacts and things like that. The other side of it is that they have access to all of that information to be able to update it, but not only that, brand it to whatever product that they would like, whether it's a bracelet, an ID card, a key tag, or sticker sets that we provide so that they can wear it or carry it wherever they're going and be able to access and update that information. The other side of it is that we are the only company currently that has the ability to create all of our ScanMed QR card suite cards, where they have an ID card plus 2 key tags that we can sell into a retail market like with a CVS or Walgreens, a Target Pharmacy, or anywhere else, where people can come in and purchase the product, activate it right from the scratch-off scan, from the activation code that they have, and be able to make it their own, pop it out, put it in their pocket, and carry it and update it as they go. So if anything were to happen, using a smartphone or using any of the dedicated barcode scanners or any of the other scanners that hospitals use, they can read that information and be able to view it. This is what's helped us actually having that type of a product get us into, we just launched in the UK in November. We just signed an agreement with Ireland, and we are currently in talks with Mexico and Canada to bring the products there, so where we have them in every language. The biggest benefit to it, I believe, not only is saving lives and being able to make educated decisions, but we can also help in the $210 billion that the health insurance providers or health insurance companies use to cut down on that cost because of unnecessary testing or unnecessary procedures that are created whenever somebody comes in without that medical information or that history that they have. We can actually tie that in between current EHRs and make it to where somebody can carry it with them and be saved at any minute, at any time, anywhere. And that was it.
So thank you for that pitch. A very interesting company. So my question would be, whenever we talk about health, obviously security and privacy come up. And I assume you expected this question. So what do you do to make sure that a user's profile is kept safe and but also basically easy enough to use so that someone would be willing to upload it?
When we get into HIPAA issues, we don't fall under the HIPAA categories to where we have to meet the HIPAA criteria simply based on the fact that it is a personal, the customer themselves choose to opt out, share that information. So they're actually in control of that. And the fact that when you scan a QR code, it's not something that somebody can walk by, and we're not talking about near field communication or the NFCs, or somebody could walk by and just grab your information off a chip or anything like that. They actually have to be hovered over it within a couple of inches to be able to read that data. The other part of it is that we don't make vital information or private information like social security numbers, home addresses. We give them the option to be able to suppress, let's say, their home address. But we don't ask for social security numbers. We don't ask for that type of data that could be used in an identity theft situation. And typically what we're seeing is when somebody uses our product, they are opting in and showing just the basics of their medications, their current, their chronic medical conditions, so that, if somebody's going to steal their data, it's not going to be based off the fact that they have epilepsy or diabetes,
I think it's a great idea because I know that it's needed for a lot of people that need emergency care or go to the hospitals. It sounds like that you've had success marketing this in countries that are socialized medicine which is uniform systems throughout their entire healthcare system. How difficult do you think that's going to be, and what are the challenges in marketing that to private institutions and hospitals and MC units in the United States? Because I see that as a cross-marketing challenge.
That actually, you hit on it exactly. The biggest challenges that we're having, we're seeing explosive, acceptance and meeting with members of Parliament and over in the UK, because they have made a dedication to go paperless by 2018. Our introduction has helped them kind of spur that, where they're going with it faster. What we're running into here, and the way that we've worked around that, not necessarily worked around it, but we've really provided the solution, is the fact that we are bringing to, with Obamacare, and as that comes into play, going to the wellness directors of like Chesapeake and Devon Energy and those larger corporations and even the smaller companies, and bringing it as a solution that their employees can bring to help reduce those costs that they're about to come up against. We're seeing a lot more acceptance in that, as to where beforehand people were kind of hesitant to do it because it was on a one-off basis, where companies were going, well, it's not something that we're necessarily, not necessarily anything that we have to have. Now that they're being faced with higher insurance costs and paying per employee and things like that, we're finding that we can use our technology to kind of leverage it to say, look, healthcare staff, emergency staff, and your employees are going to be giving them more information, cutting down on admittance, cutting down on the length of stay at a hospital, or the cost that insurance companies are going to pay out. So that's where we're seeing the biggest benefit. But where you see like nationalized healthcare, we are actually seeing a very big acceptance in that, because it's one that saves money for the entire organization. And as they do that, I guess that's the best way of putting it.
When we look at companies, sometimes we ask ourselves, is it a feature or is it its own company? Mm-hmm. And do you see this as something that Life Alert or Connect America could add as an additional feature, or do you think that this, in the sense of it needs to exist in the world as its own company? We
actually do. That's our whole goal. As part of our exit strategy and as part of our, looking at where we are going to be, we are going to wind up partnering and or being absorbed by a company that already produces or has a solution, where they are in the hospitals or they're in the EHR system or things like that. We know that we'll probably be rolled into that. We're not arrogant enough to think that we're going to, just kind of be a standalone, because it would be basically a one-off and it would cause confusion in the market or cause confusion in the industry. We think that we would be better paired with companies that can bring a solution as opposed to trying to do our own thing.
So I guess then why do they buy you or partner with you versus just build it themselves?
A couple of reasons. One, we filed for the provisional patent back in 2011. We are now working on the non-provisional. We are also working with our identification cards that we are doing that, like I said, we're the only company that's doing that, to be able to do a private label. And the private label has been widely accepted by groups like the Golden Heart Senior Care. We're in talks currently with PSS and McKesson. So we know that they look at us as a solution, as opposed to, instead of starting up a whole division to be able to do it, these guys are already doing it. Let's tweak and let's brand what they're doing.
Side note, provisional patents, I don't know exactly when your file date was, but it's a 12-month thing, and
Yep.
it was 2011.
And that's why we're filing the
Now 13,
non-provisional.
so,
We've done that.
So you said that you have QR codes, and where are they on key fobs, or what are they on?
We can do them on a number of products, whether it's the product that we have, and it runs, if you look at it on the retail side, it costs $20 to purchase it. It's on an ID card plus 2 key tags. From our website, they can order additional products like a sticker set, or they can order, thanks, Mom. They can do them from a number of different products. So they can brand it to whatever that they want. And after that, the benefit to it is that they can carry it wherever they want. So the key fobs are part of it, because EMTs are typically trained to look at 3 things. They look at the neck, the wrist, and then the wallet. And if they're in a home, they also look at things like the refrigerator, because a lot of people will write their information and put it on the refrigerator under a magnet. So we are making magnets now that are going to be attached to the wall. Other areas that we want to go into, just like Vivint security system or home security systems, we'd like to work with their touch keypads and be able to provide profiles that are done through Wi-Fi, because if you have a senior parent or something of that nature in another state, I'd love to be able to log into their profile, update their information when they go to their hospital the next or their doctor, and know that their information's current. That's our
Right.
whole goal.
Yeah, I was just thinking that's probably more your customer is the children of the seniors versus the seniors.
It is.
Because, you know, QR codes and seniors, they seem like,
It is. And if you look in the U.S., that's kind of one of our challenges was
Yeah.
the education side of it.
Right.
That's why we've dedicated a lot of our resources is into the education model. We want to educate them, but we know that typically when you have the seniors, the technology side of it, we're more gearing at their kids. In the 30 to 40 somethings, we know that they're going to be our target audience because they want to protect not only their family, but they also want to protect their kids as well. So
right, I was just going to say, and also children, right? I mean, kids
We-
in preschool, kids in daycare.
we are now working on a product called ScanMed Junior, and that will give them the ability to, it will be dedicated directly at kids, and it will have safety features in the profile and in the platform, where if you were to drop your kids off, instead of writing a note, so-and-so has my permission to seek medical treatment, they'll be able to just log into their profile, change the names, update the information, and then the kid goes right to it. Because with schools cutting back on things like school nurses, you just don't see it
Yeah.
anymore. But the kids having them on their backpacks as a tag, we can find or identify the kids with autism, kids with peanut allergies and things
Right,
like
I
that.
was just going to say
So
that. Yeah, that's interesting. I think you should think about QR tattoos.
if they get it wrong, we're just really messed up. That's
You
the
know,
only
you
thing.
forget.
All right, thank you.
That'd be the last thing.
Ross, you lose points for not bringing your dad. You brought his mom.